First Contact and Deception. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the window of Luna Base Command, her dark eyes fixed on the gleaming blue marble of Earth below. The message that had just come through the quantum communications array changed everything after decades of scanning the stars. Humanity had finally received their first confirmed alien transmission play. It again, she ordered, turning to face the holographic display where her command staff had gathered. The message flickered to life. A being with iridescent scales and multiple eyes spoke in perfect English. People of Earth, we are the Imperial Collective, a peaceful confederation of species seeking diplomatic relations with emerging civilizations. We request permission to enter your solar system with our diplomatic fleet to establish formal contact. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez, head of xenolinguistics, shook his head in disbelief. They learned our language perfectly before making contact. The computational power required for that level of analysis is concerning. Chen finished. She'd spent 20 years building Earth's defense forces in secret. Preparing for this exact moment, the public knew nothing of the quantum shield generators buried beneath every major city or the swarms of AD-driven nano-fighters hidden in asteroid bases throughout the solar system. "What's the status of Project Prometheus?" she asked, turning to Dr. Maya Patel. "Their lead weapons researcher, the quantum entanglement drives are ready." Maya replied, her fingers dancing across her tablet. "We can deploy the entire defensive grid in under 3 minutes. If needed, the new AI targeting systems have achieved a 99.9% accuracy rating in simulations." Chen nodded, studying the tactical display showing the approaching Imperial fleet. Their ships were massive, each one nearly the size of Manhattan, but something about their formation troubled her. Military instincts. "Those aren't diplomatic vessels," Commander James Wu remarked. Voicing her concerns, "Look at the energy signatures. Those are warships trying to mask their weapon systems." Agreed. Chen activated the command. "Channel to all Earth Defense Force installations. This is Admiral Chen, initialized silent running protocols. I want every system ready but completely dark. If they're here for peace, they'll never know. We were prepared." If not, the next 12 hours were tense as the Imperial fleet approached. They maintained their diplomatic facade, but Chen's analysts detected scanning attempts probing Earth's defenses. What they found would have appeared primitive scattered radar installations, a handful of conventional satellites, and some basic orbital platforms. The truth lay dormant beneath the surface. 20 years ago, when Chen had first proposed the Earth Defense Initiative, many had called her paranoid, but she convinced enough world leaders that humanity's first contact with an advanced civilization might not be peaceful, better to appear weak while building strength in secret. The Imperial fleet entered orbit with casual confidence, their massive ships casting shadows over major cities. Chen watched as their diplomatic leaves and shuttle down to address the United Nations. The being's speech was perfect, its mannerisms carefully calculated to appear benevolent. But Chen had positioned micro-drones throughout the assembly hall. They detected the SEL electromagnetic pulses being broadcast signals designed to interface with and disable defensive systems. Systems the Imperials thought they would find but didn't exist. "They're testing our capabilities," Chen muttered, "preparing for something bigger." She turned to her staff. "How long before their main fleet arrives?" Maya checked the quantum sensor readings based on the subspace distortions. "We're detecting less than 6 hours. Then we have our timeline." Chen's voice was steel. "Let them think their deception is working. Let them believe we're primitive and helpless. When their invasion fleet arrives, they'll learn humanity's first lesson about Earth." She looked back at the tactical display where thousands of hidden defense platforms waited in silent readiness. "We're never as helpless as we appear." The command staff dispersed to their stations, and Chan allowed herself a grim smile. The Imperials thought they were dealing with a young knave species ripe for conquest. They were about to discover that humanity had teeth, very sharp ones, and had spent decades preparing to bear them in the emptiness of space. The Imperial ships maintained their peace, Full pretense, unaware that every movement was being tracked by quantum sensors, every communication intercepted and decoded by AIS that had been specifically designed for this moment, Earth appeared vulnerable, primitive, perfect for absorption into their empire. It was exactly what Admiral Chen wanted them to think the trap was set. Now they just had to wait for the invasion fleet to spring it, the hidden arsenal. The main Imperial fleet arrived exactly as Earth's quantum sensors had predicted, tearing holes in space of time at the edge of the solar system, over 300 warships, each one bristling with weapons that could reduce a continent to ash. Their arrival was meant to inspire terror. Instead, Admiral Chen felt a sense of cold satisfaction. They brought exactly what we expected. She said, studying the tactical display in Luna Base Command, typical Conquest fleet configuration. They're not even trying to hide their intentions anymore. The Imperial diplomatic vessel in Earth orbit immediately dropped its peaceful pretense. Their liaison delivered an ultimatum to the United Nations: immediate surrender and integration into the Imperial Collective or annihilation. They gave Earth 1 hour to decide. How diplomatic of them, Commander, Wu remarked. Dry, shall we show them? Our response. Admiral Chen nodded, activating the quantum encrypted command network. All stations. This is Admiral Chen. Operation Lazarus is now active. Execute on my mark throughout the solar system. Hidden installations hum to life in the asteroid belt. Massive hangar doors opened silently, disgorging swarms of autonomous fighters, smaller than conventional radar could detect beneath Earth's oceans. Quantum shield generators powered up their energy signal H's masked by the planet's magnetic field. The Imperial fleet advanced with textbook precision, spreading out to ensure no escape craft could flee the system. Their sensors detected only primitive satellite networks and a handful of defensive platforms, exactly what they expected from a pre-FTL civilization. They're launching their first wave. Maya reported monitoring the quantum feeds, 5,000 attack craft targeting major population centers, exactly as the simulations predicted. Chen allowed herself a small smile. They're so predictable it's almost disappointing. She keyed her command channel. All units execute Phase 1. Let's show them what they're really dealing with. The Imperial fighters screamed toward Earth's atmosphere, their pilots confident in their technological superiority. The first indication that something was wrong came when their targeting systems began to fail. Quantum interference, perfectly calibrated to their frequencies, scrambled their computers. Quantum shields online. Maya announced city grids activating now across Earth, invisible barriers of casualties on our side. Imperial command ships are launching their second wave right on schedule. Chen nodded. Deploy the LANs from beneath Earth's oceans. Massive shapes began to rise. Submarine carriers, hidden for years in the deepest trenches, surfaced to reveal their true nature. Each one was a mobile fortress bristling with quantum weaponry and protected by shields that bent the very fabric of space around them. The Imperial fleet's formation faltered. For the first time, their sensors finally adapting to Earth's quantum technologies revealed the true extent of humanity's preparations. Where they had expected to find a helpless pre-FTL civilization, they instead faced an opponent who had anticipated their every move. They're attempting to regroup. Mir reported detecting massive energy buildups in their capital ships. They're preparing to deploy their planet-killer weapons. Perfect Chen's eyes claimed initiate project Prometheus. Let's show them why you don't threaten Earth throughout the solar system hidden. Quantum relays activated, creating a web of entangled energy that had taken years to position. The Imperial fleet found itself caught in a massive quantum field. Their fastest-than-light capabilities suddenly neutralized your move. Chen whispered, watching the Imperial ship struggle against the quantum net. Show us what you do when you realize you're not the biggest fish in the pond anymore. The battle for Earth was about to enter its next phase, and humanity was just getting started. 20 years of preparation were about to pay off, and the Imperial Collective was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating their opponents. The real question wasn't whether Earth would survive. The question was how much of the Imperial fleet would survive to carry word back to their empire about the terrible mistake they had made in threatening humanity: counterattack. The Imperial IAL fleet's command structure was in chaos. Their supposedly primitive target had revealed defensive capabilities that rivaled or exceeded their own, worse their attempts. Communications. Yes, Admiral. Their command structure is fascinating hierarchical, but with distributed autonomy, they're coordinating through quantum encrypted channels. But our AIS are already 3 steps ahead of their encryption. Show me their flagship's location. A red marker appeared on the tactical display nestled deep within the Imperial formation. Chen studied it for a moment, then made her decision. Execute. Operation Hydra. All units. Commence attack pattern Delta 7. Earth's forces move with practiced precision. The swarms of Noth fighters reorganized themselves into complex geometric patterns, creating a 3-dimensional web around the Imperial sphere. The Leviathan carriers submerged again, disappearing beneath Earth's oceans. They think we're retreating, Woe noted as the Imperials detected the carrier's apparent withdrawal. Let them think that Maya initiate the cascade. The quantum resonance cascade was humanity's master stroke technology. It had taken 15 years to perfect it. Didn't attack ships. Exploiting microscopic gaps in the Imperial shields, but they weren't aiming to destroy each strike. Instead, inserted quantum eye viruses into the Imperial ship's computer systems. Virus deployment at 60%. Rodriguez reported their automated defenses are adapting, but slower than projected will achieve full penetration in 3 minutes. The Imperial fleet's response was predictable. They launched their entire reserve of fighters, nearly 50,000 craft, in a desperate attempt to break the quantum interference net Chen had been waiting. For this initiate Project Medusa, from their hidden positions in the asteroid belt, enormous structures that had been mistaken for mining installations revealed their true nature. Quantum pulse arrays, activated sending waves of targeted interference that transformed the space around the Imperial fighters into a maze of conflicting gravitational fields. Fighter screen neutralized Wu, announced 87% disabled. The rest are trapped in quantum eads. Imperial capital ships are attempting to power through the interference. Chen nodded, just as the simulations predicted. Maya deployed the Thetos protocol. The quantum eye viruses, now infecting the Imperial fleet systems, activated simultaneously. Rather than attempt to seize control, they simply exposed the truth-detailed schematics of Earth's defensive capabilities, records of 20 years of preparation, and most devastatingly proof that humanity had detected their approach long before they reached the solar system. Message incoming from the Imperial flagship. Rodriguez announced they're requesting a ceasefire. Put it through. Chen ordered main screen. The Imperial Admiral appeared a being of crystalline symmetry and cold calculation. Its multiple eyes focused on Chen with what might have been respect or fear. You knew we were coming, it stated. We detected your survey probes 15 years ago. Chen confirmed. Did you really think we wouldn't prepare? The Imperial Collective has never encountered such resistance. Your technology is what we chose to show you. Chen interrupted. Consider carefully what else. We might have developed that you haven't seen yet. The Imperial Admiral's crystalline structure shifted, a gesture Chen's sinologists had identified as profound uncertainty. What are your terms? Chen's expression remained neutral, but her eyes held steel. First, you're going to learn about a concept we humans call diplomatic relations. Then we're going to have a very, very interesting discussion about the future of your empire. The battle for Earth was ending, but humanity's emergence onto the Galactic stage was just beginning, and they were determined to ensure it would be on their terms. The Admiral's gamut, the ceasefire, lasted exactly 6 minutes deep within the Imperial flagship emergency protocols. Activated quantum signals hidden beneath layers of encryption pulsed outward to every ship in the fleet. Admiral Chen watched as the tactical display shifted, showing new energy signatures flaring across the Imperial vessels. They're activating. Something. Maya reported, her fingers dancing across multiple holographic displays, energy patterns unlike anything in our database. Chen's eyes narrowed. They're desperate, and desperate enemies are the most dangerous. All units maintain quantum containment. Do not let them break formation. The material, Admiral's crystalline form, shimmered with barely contained energy. You are impressive humans, more than impressive, but the collective cannot allow such power to exist outside our control. Initiate the Omega Protocol. The Imperial fleet ships began to change. Crystalline structures emerged from their holes, growing and interconnecting like a vast geometric web. Energy readings spiked beyond anything Earth's sensors had recorded. Link their ships together. Wu realized, creating some kind of unified energy matrix. No, Chen corrected, her voice tight. They're sacrificing their fleet to power something bigger. Maya. Analysis, the energy patterns they're creating, a quantum singularity. If they succeed, it could tear apart the fabric of space-time throughout the solar system. They'd rather destroy everything than admit defeat. Chance's mind raced 20 years of preparation, and they'd never anticipated this level of fanaticism. But humanity hadn't survived countless challenges by giving up when faced with the impossible. Dr. Patel Chen's voice was eerily calm. Remember that theoretical application of Project Prometheus we discussed, the one you said had a 133% chance of success? Maya's eyes widened. The quantum inversion. Admiral, that's never been tested outside simulations. The power requirements alone would drain every generator in the solar system, and if we don't try, none of that will matter anyway. Chen opened a channel to all Earth forces. This is Admiral Chen. All power systems prepare for total transfer to the quantum grid on my Mark Leviathan carrier's surface and deploy solar arrays. We're about to attempt something unprecedented. The Imperial Admiral's voice crackled through the comm. Your efforts are futile. The singularity cascade cannot be stopped once initiated. Accept your fate with dignity. Chen ignored him, focusing instead on the tactical display. The Imperial ships were now completely interconnected, their combined mass starting to warp space. Itself, time was running out. Maya, start the power transfer. Rodriguez, get me a direct quantum link to every AI in our system. Wu, coordinate with the Leviathans. I want every joule of power we can squeeze from those solar arrays. Earth's defensive grid hummed with unprecedented energy, the quantum shield generators beneath every city, the hidden bases throughout the solar system, even. The civilian power networks, everything fed into the growing pool of energy. Maya was gathering power at 60%, and Rising Mayor reported quantum coherence holding steady, but Admiral, we're seeing dimensional instabilities forming around the Imperial fleet. The space around the Imperial ships was beginning to twist reality itself, buckling under the strain of their desperate gamut. The crystalline structure connecting their ships pulsed with otherworldly energy. 70%. Maya continued. Admiral, we need to act soon. The dimensional stress is approaching critical levels. Chen watched the tactical display, waiting for the perfect moment. The Imperial Admiral's voice came through again, tinged with what might have been. Regret, your species showed great promise perhaps in another reality. Now Chen ordered, execute quantum inversion. Maya's fingers flew across her console, initiating the most ambitious technological feat humanity had ever attempted. The massive pool of energy that gathered surged through the quantum grid, creating a controlled dimension inversion around the Imperial fleet. The effect was like watching reality turn inside out. The space around the Imperial ships folded in on itself, their quantum singularity. Cascade meeting the inverse quantum field generated by Earth's combined power. For a moment, it seemed as if two universes were trying to occupy the same space field. Holding Maya shouted over the strain of overtaxed systems, the cascade is being contained. Chen watched as the impossible physics play out before them. The Imperial fleet's desperate final attack wasn't just being stopped, it was being reversed. Their own energy turned back upon itself in a feat of quantum engineering that would rewrite physics, textbooks for generations to come. The Imperial Admiral's crystalline form cracked as he realized what was happening. Impossible. You've mastered quantum inversion, but that technology is merely theoretical. Humanity's greatest strength, Chen replied calmly, is turning theory into reality when our survival depends on it. Stand down your fleet. Admiral, your gambit has failed. The battle for Earth was about to reach its final phase, and humanity had once again proven that they would not go quietly into the night. The galaxy was about to learn that underestimating humans was a mistake no one would make twice. Victory and recognition, the quant inversion field shimmered like a second sun in Earth's orbit, containing the aftermath of the Imperial fleet's failed gambit inside Luna Base Command. Admiral Chen watched. As the last energy reading stabilized, the Imperial ships hung motionless. Their crystalline structure networks shattered their mighty weapons. Silent final status report, Chen ordered, her voice showing no sign of the exhaustion they all felt after the grueling battle. Maya looked up from her console, dark circles under her eyes, but a smile of triumph on her face. The quantum inversion field is stable. We've contained their singularity cascade completely. Their fleet is essentially frozen in a pocket of altered space-time. They couldn't restart their weapons now, even if they wanted to. What about our systems? Chen asked, turning to Commander Wu. All defensive grids are operational, though running at reduced capacity. The Leviathan carriers are back underwater, recharging their power cells. Nano fighter swarms are at 60% strength and holding defensive positions. Wu paused, checking another readout. Most importantly, our quantum shield network around Earth remains at full strength. the Imperial Admiral's image flickered. Onto the main screen, his crystalline form showing visible cracks from the strain of their failed attack when he spoke. His voice carried something humans had never heard from the Collective before. Respect tinged with fear. The Imperial Collective acknowledges its defeat, he stated formally, in 3,000 years of expansion. No species has ever. He paused, his crystalline structure shifting in what sonologists would later identify as profound distress. We underestimated you. Gravely. Yes, Chen replied simply. You did. Now shall we discuss terms? The negotiations that followed would reshape the galaxy from Luna Base Command. Chen led the diplomatic team that would establish humanity's position in the interstellar community. The terms were non-negotiable. Earth would remain independent, its space would be inviolate, and the Imperial Collective would acknowledge humanity as equals, not subjects. But Chen had one more card to play. There's something else you should know, she told the Imperial Admiral as the formal surrender documents were being prepared. What you saw today, our quantum inversion technology, the nanofighters, the Leviathan carriers, that was our defensive capability. You never saw our offensive weapons. The Admiral's crystalline form vibrated with alarm. You have more. Chen allowed herself a small smile. We spent 20 years preparing to defend Earth. Did you think we wouldn't also prepare to take the fight to our enemies if necessary? Let's just say it's in everyone's best interest that those weapons remain theoretical. The impact of Earth's victory rippled through the galaxy like a shockwave. The news spread faster than light through quantum communication networks. The undefeated Imperial Collective had not only failed to conquer a single planet, but had been comprehensively defeated by a species they dismissed as primitive in the days that followed. As Earth's diplomatic course began the work of establishing their new place in the galactic community, other species reached out. Some sought protection. Others, alliance, all of them eager to understand how humanity had achieved the impossible in her private office aboard Luna Base. Chen reviewed the latest reports with her core team. The Imperial fleet was being escorted from the solar system, their ships still bearing the scars of their defeat. Earth's defensive systems were being upgraded with new insights gained from the battle, and the first human embassy ships were being prepared for launch to other star systems. They're calling it the Terra Doctrine. Rodriguez reported, reading from Miss Tablet, the idea that technological advancement should be hidden until it's needed. Several other species are already adopting similar strategies, and the Imperial Collective. Chen asked in chaos. Wu replied with satisfaction. Their entire philosophy was based on technological superiority. Now that that's been proven false, their member species are beginning to question everything. Maya looked up from her own work. Admiral, the quantum physics community is still trying to understand exactly what we did with that inversion. Field the applications for this technology. They're revolutionary. Chen nodded, looking out her window at the Earth below the blue marble that humanity had defended so successfully, now representing something new in the galaxy, hope for other species who wish to remain free, and a warning to any who would try to conquer through force 20 years ago. She said quietly, when we detected those first Imperial probes, everyone said I was paranoid for suggesting we needed to prepare. Now look where we are. Where are we exactly? Wu asked. Ken turned back to her team, her expression determined. We're at the beginning. Humanity has proven itself on the defensive now. It's time to show the galaxy what we can do when we're helping to build something better. She gestured to the star charts showing potential diplomatic missions. We've proven we can fight. Now let's prove we can lead. As KN fell over Earth, its cities gleaming beneath their invisible quantum shields. Humanity looked to the stars with new eyes. They had faced their first great galactic test and emerged victorious. The Emperor IAL collectives failed. Invasion hadn't just been defeated, it had announced humanity's arrival on the galactic stage, and this was only the beginning.